I wanted to talk to you a little bit about WWE, Eric, because we're seeing now Solo Sokoa step up as the new leader, if you will, of the bloodline. And he's introduced formally his MFT, which made my wife chuckle because those are her initials now, Tama Tonga. And boy, they had a bloody scene with a car wreck behind the show on SmackDown. We debuted some brand new tag team titles. We even had an interview done over in London that was then dropped into the show from Cody Rhodes, who was wrestling in front of the largest house show in WWE history. It was a fun SmackDown. It was a well done show. And meanwhile, that's just one of the crews. The other crew is setting records across the pond. There's a lot to talk about in WWE land this week, Eric.
A lot of energy, a lot of success, a lot of records being broken on a regular basis. Critically acclaimed, really, pay-per-view. Amazing storytelling, new characters. This Tama Tonga character, what a impressive young man he is.
By the way, you keep saying young, and you're getting roasted online. He's like 41. But I appreciate you leaning.
I'm 69. He's my son's age. He's my son's age. My son just turned 40 yesterday. He's a kid in my eyes. He will always be a kid in my eyes. The hell are you people getting upset about nothing for? Have you nothing better to do?
My favorite is when people were like, oh, he's an old man. Not like my favorite LA Knight. They were born the same year, guys. 41 is no longer old in the wrestling business.
Well, the heat I got, of course, it's not old. If you look at the rosters in WWE or look at the roster in AEW, 40, you're kind of knocking on the sweet spot store. You're getting into your prime in 40 because you've gone through your 20s learning that you don't want to do all the stupid shit you thought was cool when you were 12. And then you start figuring it out. Well, some people do. And if you're lucky enough to get into a situation where you're working with people who understand the storytelling components of the business, understand how to pace a match, understand how to manipulate the audience to get the reaction that you want to get when you want to get it, as opposed to hoping and praying for "this is awesome" chance. If you're one of those lucky individuals on the independent scene and you happen to cross paths with a veteran that can teach you some of those things, or maybe you just learn by observing. Oh my God, imagine that. You just learn by watching people, I don't know, like maybe Randy Orton, for example, who is an artist. He's an artist. He's not a professional wrestler. He passed professional wrestler a long time ago. He's an artist. He tells a story with every square inch of his body, every facial twitch adds an element of interest to his story. Perhaps you're one of those lucky enough independent wrestlers to observe a guy like Randy Orton, and then you take your skill sets out of the road, you grow and you become better. And that doesn't usually happen unless you're a freak of fucking nature. It doesn't happen until you're probably in your late 30s. The light bulb goes off. You finally figure it out. Well, some do. And they go on to become huge stars. So, yeah, 40s, whatever. But the reason I'm getting all the heat I'm getting is because I was unfamiliar with Tama Tonga. Guess what? I don't sit around and watch wrestling 8 hours a week. I really don't. I have another life. I enjoy watching wrestling. I drop in when I hear about something that I'm interested in particularly that I think we might talk about here in 83 weeks. Yes, hold on a second.
You wouldn't be able to watch him anyway, Eric. He's a New Japan wrestler. You wouldn't be, even if you watched 8 hours of wrestling a week, you wouldn't have seen him. He's a New Japan wrestler. So unless you were,
there you go. I didn't even know that. What the fuck? That's how out of touch I am.
One of the OG
He's an impressive young man.
Yeah, 41 when you're damn near 70, still a young man.
Honestly, I have 2 pairs of jeans that are almost that old.
That's tremendous. Well, what's not old is the matchup. AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes. That is going to headline Backlash in France, as Cody said in his promo. 2 Georgia boys battling it out in the middle of France. Man, it's pretty fun to think about how long AJ Styles has been at this. In the early days, the Asylum Nashville days of TNA, he defended the NWA World Championship against Dusty Rhodes. And now, all these years later, 20 years later almost, we're talking about him wrestling Cody for the WWE title. What a career AJ has had. And I know he's probably in the twilight now. He's made it clear that he's not planning to wrestle forever. He's at least thinking about retirement. He can see it from where he is in his career. I don't think he's gotten his just due in the company, because you want to talk about a guy who was the torchbearer for TNA, and then he enjoyed so much success with New Japan. But even under the Vince McMahon WWE, he had a hell of a run.
He did. And I do believe that, a little bit of trivia, that AJ got his start in WCW.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the very end. That's right.
Yeah, very end of WCW. And he may have been part of the power plant. I don't think so. I don't think that's where he was trained primarily. But perhaps AJ Styles got his start in WCW. On another related trivia note, this may be the first time in history. I don't know. We're going to have to check this out. We got a bunch of enlightened muckerfuthers out there listening to the show that'll probably do the research and correct us before the end of the show, or correct me if indeed I'm wrong. But this may be the first time in history two former Georgia high school state wrestling champions meet in WWE.
Yeah.
I don't know. Check it out.
Interesting.
If it's true, May 4th is a date that will go down in the history books. Dave Meltzer will be writing about it. It's true history. All kidding aside, and I'm not kidding, that is true from what I can recall. Two great guys. I mean, really, really forget about what they've accomplished in professional wrestling and entertainment. Just forget about all that. If they never stepped foot in a wrestling ring, these are two of the nicest human beings I've ever had the pleasure to meet and work with.
Agree.
These are really, really good human beings. Now, add to the fact that they're both phenomenal in the ring, and they're phenomenal characters. They know how to make you believe and keep you excited at the same time. Can't wait. It's going to be fun.
I can't wait either. I do think it's going to be a great show. I'm a huge AJ Styles fan. I think he has been one of the best wrestlers in the world for the last 20 years. I mean, I really mean that.